In a market defined by uncertainty, where every second counts, one opportunity can change everything. Are you ready to make your move? The time is now! Welcome to the Dream is Real podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Dream is Real podcast. This is the place if you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in New York real estate. Before we get started, make sure that you like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications. We don't want you to miss an episode as we bring you great content. Today, I am with Juan Romero. Juan, you are our newest agent here at Dream Select.
Yes.
Great to meet you, great to work with you, and excited that you're here. So we are going to take this episode, and we're going to learn a little bit more about you, and then maybe fast forward down the road and see where you're at. A couple months down the road, a year or so in. So Juan, let's start. Let's talk about you. Tell us a little bit about you, your background, where you're coming from.
So, mostly throughout my, career life, I've really mainly done like logistic work, like warehousing and stuff like that.
Why'd you get into logistics?
To be 100% honest with you, a cousin of mine worked at a pharmaceutical warehouse.
Okay.
And when I was 17, I talked to my guidance counselor at school. They signed off my paperwork, and I just kind of went and worked with him. Then I was there for like about 10 years.
So what made you decide to pivot to real estate?
In all honesty, I've done a couple of different jobs throughout the logistics environment, right? So I've worked for several different companies like L&K International, Costella Imports. And in all honesty, I've always had, a diverse group of what we would say coworkers. And I've always noticed that their biggest excitement in life, usually, or like their greatest accomplishment would be, I just bought a house, or I'm buying a house, or I just bought myself a new car, or, my family just moved in with me. So it teed up something in me that I noticed that a lot of people, they value certain things. And to me, like the three that mainly stood out was transportation, food, and housing. So here I am.
Need all three in modern society, for sure. So that's what drew you, the fact that it's a major life event.
Yes.
A major purchase, major life event.
Yes.
Very, very cool. Very cool. So where do you see yourself as an agent kind of fitting into those events? We know what an agent does.
Yes.
But you took the test, right?
Yes,
You took the test, you passed. By now, you know what an agent does. But you personally, if you're going to embark on something career-wise, it's got to have some sort of fulfillment for you. So where do you see fitting in that?
Yeah. So in all honesty, I've always felt that I like helping people, no matter what industry or what I've been doing throughout my life. I've always had the incline to, if I can help others, it would, be good to. So I feel like real estate and then just jumping into here is something that it helps me, or it would allow me to help somebody get to that state of, I achieved the dream of mine, which is to have a home, and then to know that I was able to facilitate or help them through that process is
very
definitely
cool.
something that speaks to me. Helping
somebody find that dream home, live in that, in the security of that, which really is the American dream, right? That is the concept of this whole program, is to let everyone know that the dream is real. That the dream of home ownership, it can be a catalyst of so many things. Not only just owning a home, but also the investment side. We get into that quite a bit here as well. So from your perspective of the process becoming an agent, what was that like?
So I want to say the process, right, of becoming, that was definitely, it was something new, I would like to say, because it was not guided at all. So I did the whole thing online.
So did you go with? Did you go with the self-paced? Did you
Yes,
jump on?
I did the self-pacing
did the
one.
self-paced.
Yes, I did the
Interesting.
self-pacing. I did the real estate U one online.
Okay.
And it was interesting, and I'll be honest, right? I did it. I got all. I think there were 17 chapters altogether, right? Like, or units. I got to unit 15 before my time ran out because they give you like I think a year or something. And I literally ran the time out because I was just letting it go, and I had to repay to do the whole thing again.
For 2 more chapters.
So yeah, but they made me start from the beginning, so I had to go from chapter 1 all the way
Is that
through
true?
again. It is. So
Okay.
so it's something that, like, when they, when you start something that's kind of like self-propelled, you always have that thought in the back of your head of, oh, I don't want to leave it to the side, but then you inevitably end up doing so. And that happened to me, and that's kind of something that it's another driver. It's kind of like, oh, it's always, you want to do something, it's important, you like it, and then it just kind of falls off the way. And I feel like that translates into real estate a little bit.
So for the individual that's thinking about taking the test, and we'll get into the test itself here in a second, but just the process that you went through, or if you could go back and talk to yourself a year ago, would you jump into a class as opposed to doing the self-paced? What would you change, and what advice would you give people thinking about taking that step forward?
I mean, I think it really depends on an individual's like learning ability, right? Because I know people who cannot like learn by themselves, like, let's say, like, I'm really bad, right, as I just explained.
Well, you did it though.
Yeah, but I did do it.
You got to
Yes.
give yourself some credit.
Yes,
you know,
I do.
things. That's one of the challenges of the self-paced. Because I'll admit it here too. I signed up for the self-paced as well, and I was hitting it pretty good. But again, it's probably same as you. I've got my full time. I had my full time. I own several businesses, so I was in that, and eventually I just said, forget this. I personally jumped into the class. So all I'm saying is give yourself a little bit of credit here because you did finish it.
Yes.
Right. It's not always how you start; it's how you finish.
Correct. Yes.
So I cut you off. What would you do? Would you do anything differently?
I think I probably would the second time just go into a class and really, I feel like get that more, interaction with maybe other students and stuff, because there would be times where I would have questions and then I would have to go on online forums and stuff and just kind of look it up. So I think maybe a classroom environment does help with, just the exchange of information and ideas a little bit better than it does when you're by yourself, because it's just you.
It's just you. And it is pretty convenient now. When I really jumped on, there's Zoom classes out there that you can take.
Yes.
So you don't even have to be physically in the class. I mean, it could take a little bit longer. You could do it during the day. You could do it at night. So what I ended up doing was the night classes. So it took about 6 weeks, but it was like 3 nights a week, and you can handle that. But what matters is you're here, you're at Dream Select, and you're ready to help people with one of the biggest transactions of their life. What are your first steps like? What's your plan out of the gate? I know there's a lot of great resources here, but what is Juan planning on doing?
Being a sponge, honestly, because there's always, and like I've said to Kim and LeVar also, there's you don't know what you don't know, and as much as the tests and the whole course, it really does go into details about everything, so you pretty much know it, but there's that personable aspect of it, of like when push comes to shove, like what happens when a person just comes in and says, hey, I'm ready, I have all of this, but I don't have this one thing. It's kind of like they didn't teach me that, so that's kind of.
Well, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. What's on the test is great. All that stuff, you have to know it. But when you get out into the field, what I think if you ask anybody here, there are a lot of things that the test can't necessarily prepare you
Correct.
for, and that's why it's good that we have a team here that everybody here is willing to help one another. Taking the test itself and the content, how would you rate it? Was it difficult?
So due to the fact that I kind of went over pretty much all the materials twice, the test was actually pretty easy for me. Like once I got to the actual test portion of it, it was like, oh, this is kind of like a recap of everything. So it was pretty easy to get through the test. And I feel like the state test also, it seems scary more than it actually is because you have all the information, pretty much. So it's not,
Right, you get there, they start laying out the rules. Can't have this on the
Yeah,
desk.
it's
You've got
very-
this much. Yeah,
Yeah, it's more. I feel like it's that. It's more of like the nerves of it than. It's
but
like a
you get
state
there,
test.
you take it, and you pass it, and now again, here you are. So being a sponge, love that. I think that's key. You have a particular area of real estate that you want to focus in? Are you thinking residential, commercial, investment side?
Mainly residential, to be 100% honest. Like
Yeah.
residential, I know they have a few opportunities to do different things here in the office. So I do think, once I'm maybe a little bit more comfortable, have a couple of actual experiences under my belt, then I think I would definitely be willing to expand into other areas such as commercial or maybe even investing if that's an opportunity. So.
Anything from your logistics background and that experience that you feel like is going to translate well here on the real estate side?
I feel like communication to a certain degree because logistics, if nothing, it's mainly communication, right? Like we need to know what we have, what we're getting, what we're sending out. So I feel like that making sure that all aspects of like something prior to it being done really helps out. Like we had an incident here the other day, and the first thing I thought of was that's a learning experience, So I've kind of ingrained that through my logistical career that it's like you have these little like hiccups or roadblocks, you would say, but that doesn't necessarily mean your whole process is flawed. It just means you have to reevaluate and then just,
Right. And with a real estate transaction, as you probably learn going through the material and wait till you get some field experience, that there's a myriad of things that can, let's just say, come up,
Yes,
right? You
yes.
can call them hiccups if you want, but they're really, they're barriers that need to be overcome. That's why we build such a great team here, is so that we have resources. If it's on the mortgage side, we've got resources there. If it's, part of what we've been able to do, even through this podcast, is to connect with so many great people within the industry so that, we've got the right resources, for our clients at the right time. So your personal goals, like what would you like to look back 10, 20, 30 years from now and have real estate do for your life?
Wow, that's a good question. 20, 30 years. I was expecting you to say like 5 or something.
Well, we can talk about your 1 year, 3 year,
No,
5
yeah,
year plan, but I'm talking. Let's start at the end.
Like
you
a
look
good
back.
overview. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I'd like to say that I, first of all, would have accomplished what I came in to do, which would be to help people, right? To inevitably have a nice and comfortable life for myself and my family also, right? Because like you said, the American dream is to own a house, yes, and to have your own things. So that's my dream as well as it is everybody else's. So I hope, in 30 or 40 years that I can look back and say, like, yes, it took me 2 tries on the how do you say this, the school portion of it, and it took me a while to get in there, but once I did it, I didn't look back, and I'm happy with it.
I mean, that's going to be all water under the bridge. I mean, does anybody? You think about your road test, right?
Yeah,
And we won't go around the room and say how some people pass it on the first shot. Some people takes a couple times, right?
Yeah.
But you get down the road. Really doesn't matter.
Correct, yes.
Right? You're doing the right thing. I love your perspective on being able to help people. That's a big part of the mantra here, and why I believe very strongly that you're going to be a great asset to the team. So as far as now let's talk about this next year. Being a sponge, but you have any goals on how many houses you want to sell the first year? It's a loaded question. Like
it is, but here, I'll ask you a question.
Sure.
Do you want me to be realistic or like give you my internal desire, like of what
No,
I
let's
think would be perfect. 'Cause-
let's go with what you think would be perfect. What's
Okay,
perfect scenario?
perfect scenario for Juan. So if let's say in this next year, I would my goal, yes, would be obviously to absorb, learn as much as possible. And then once I, let's say, would be comfortable, I would say my goal would be about 8, 10 sales for the year, which again, that's a my thing. I don't know how realistic it would be,
I
but
think here that's very doable for you.
yeah, so that's shoot for the stars, let's say.
What characteristics do you feel like you have that are when I say intangible, meaning that not things that you can necessarily learn, but your character traits that make you confident that you're going to be able to accomplish great things in real estate?
Something about me. Let's see. I don't know. I'm very selfless in a way. Even this is kind of like hard for me because I don't really.
You're doing good, by the
don't.
way.
Thank
I know
you.
you're nervous coming in. You
Thank
can't tell.
you. Yeah,
You can't
but
tell.
no, I don't really think about myself, and even when I do get often asked the question, like, like, tell me about yourself, it's always usually a hiccup. So I do think, that's a quality that I find would be helpful in this industry because at the end of the day, when a person comes in, it's like, I want your benefit and to help you, you know what I'm saying? Like, for me, I'm just the helper in this scenario, if that makes sense.
I love it. I love it. No, the key to great selling is being able to ask, what are you looking? What exactly are you looking for?
Correct,
How do
yes.
how do I serve you?
Yeah.
Well, that is awesome. So, 8 to 10 next year. I'm going to hold you to that now.
Yeah, of
You
course,
know
yeah.
that. You know that. And then beyond, do you see yourself moving into the broker side, moving into the investment side? Where do you see yourself in real estate? I don't just mean as an agent, but are you looking to leverage the industry, for your success as well, on the investment side?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like when you look at real estate, when you first like think about it, I would say like when I first thought about it, be honest, right? Like, it was kind of like, okay, it seems because I've done door-to-door sales for like Verizon before. So
I was going to
that's-
ask if you had any sales experience.
I do, yes. So
So you hold on. We're going to do time. So you went door to door.
I have gone door to door. Yes.
I have as well. I have as well.
So that's
So-
always fun. Yes.
All right. So you in logistics for a while, but you've got that face-to-face interaction experience
yes.
because that's not easy to do.
It's not. It's one of the hardest things you can do.
It's a
really.
cold conversation, pretty much every 5 minutes.
Correct,
At that
yes,
standpoint. So from that experience, how do you think that translates here?
Oh, that translates beautifully because there's, like you said, you initiate a conversation pretty much from zero every single time, right? So it's getting to like the nitpick of what it is that I like, for example, because I show up at your door and you don't know why I'm there, you don't know what I want, so I do know. So it's kind of like guiding you, breaking down, the ice first, like, hey, I'm not here as like a crazy
That's a
person.
great point.
know?
You've got a split second to create rapport.
Correct. You disarm them really quick. Hey, I'm just here, give a little spiel and then quickly, can I help you with this? This is what I offer. Can I help you? Are you the right person to be talking to? And just like quick assessments that you have to make, like you've done door to door, so you know that you have like 2 minutes to make like 5 assessments and then determine, is this the right person to talk to? Am I just going to waste my time here? And then, proceed from there. So I think that translates,
So before the close in those scenarios,
Yes.
what do you? How would you call an interaction successful? Like, what makes an interaction successful in an environment like that?
Their buying signs really, to like how they interact with you. So it's really like body language, how responsive the person is, let's say. And then a lot of the times it's really like if I've done my job at presenting the product that I have for you or the service that I have for you, like I can't make the decision for you. Like the next step is just like the impulse, like how much did you follow along with what I was saying? And then it's like you can see it in the person. They're either following along, like yes, like yeah, oh, that makes sense. this is great. That's going to save me money. You know, like all these are buying signs, right? So you transition into a close. But if it's, oh, well, I don't know, or I think I might have to ask my husband, or, you know, like then, or, you know, my daughter takes care, then it's like, okay, you know, like, is there a better time I can come back? You know, can I leave my number so that your daughter or your husband can call me? You know, so I feel like really assessing that, you know, like the person.
Seems like a buildup of persistence, which you have to be. You have to be pleasantly persistent.
Yes.
Right?
So it's more of, I don't think of it as like persistence. I think of it as like guiding a conversation more so, because it's, again, you know, the person doesn't know why I'm there. Or like, it's different in real estate because the person might show up to a open house, or they might walk into an office and say, you know, like, I want a house, right? But if you just show up and knock on their door, they're like, I don't know why you're here or what you want.
But I think there are some similarities in the sense where you have to build that rapport and trust right away.
Yeah, of
right?
course, of
You've got to be able to communicate clearly.
Yes.
And understand what their needs are.
Yes.
You know, you go Verizon door to door. You're talking internet. What do you? I'm sure you have to ask questions, right?
Yes,
what do you?
correct.
What exactly do you use the internet for?
Yep.
You know, if somebody says they're at home working at home. You know, they need. We don't have to get into it in this conversation, but they need redundancy. They need these things. So a lot of that, and why I think you're going to be well suited, especially with your background, is getting to the heart of what's needed and then meeting those needs.
Yeah.
So we've already said down the line, right? You want to be able to put your head on the pillow and say, I helped people, I built a nice life for myself. In the next year, you're looking, you know, 8 to 10 homes. You know, that's it. You're going for that. What else should the world know about Juan Romero, and why should someone who's out there right now looking to sell their house, looking to partner with somebody to find their next dream home, why should they give you a call?
Okay. I mean, that's a great question. And then I kind of want to spin it back to what I said earlier about, you know, I always get tripped up when I'm asked about myself.
That's why I asked you again.
You did, yeah.
Throwing you some curveballs.
So, but no, I mean, that's one of the things that I would have to say to anybody. You know, if you come to me for any help, I will do my best, my absolute best, to ensure that you find what it is that you're looking for, or that I can at least guide you towards, you know, more information or perhaps more resources that would open the door later down the line for what it is that your dream is. I also think that, let's say, like, for somebody who's maybe never bought a home before, my greatest advice is just do it. You know, like, you have to just do everything. Like, I've never done a podcast before, and here I am. I've never sold real estate before, and here I am. Yeah, and a lot of my life is really like, never did door-to-door sales before I did it, you know, so there's...
But you have to knock on that first door,
you have
right?
to knock on that first door, yeah, and it was beautiful, because I always ask, like, my first question was, what if they say no to me, right? And it was...
How do you answer that question?
Go to the next house, right? And that's, I feel like we get stuck up on, oh, I want to buy a house, but what if I don't qualify? Or what if I can't find somebody? Or, you know, like a car. I want to buy a car, but I don't know if I am going to be able to afford it then. So we always have a reason not to do things, and actually doing them is the scariest thing to do. So I know a lot about doing things the first time, so, you know, there you go.
Awesome. Well, you're selfless, you seem motivated, and you seem ready to serve whoever gets within your path. Yes or no, right? Whether they say yes, whether they say no. I think you're going to do very, very well. So how would somebody get in touch with you to have you be their advocate, their representative, their agent in their next purchase?
Yeah, so my cell number is 516-983-1571. I always have my cell, always answer whenever. If I cannot answer, definitely reach back as soon as I can.
What's your email?
Email is jromero@dreamselectrealty.com.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Well, hey, I look forward to working with you.
Thank you.
And thank you for tuning in. This is the Dream is Real podcast. If you want to follow us on Instagram or TikTok, at Dream Select Realty, on X at Dream Select Home. If you want to be part of the program, you can just reach out and send an email to hometeam@dreamselectrealty.com. We'll see you next time. Like, share, subscribe, and remember, the dream is real.